Hello, welcome back to Cooking with Gio. As promised, today we are actually going to be tackling how to make tortillas. We're going to make sure that we are making these tortillas with no lard whatsoever, so they will be vegan. So I went ahead and put 4 cups of flour. We are going to be using just a bowl dish. Big enough to be able to go ahead and mix all the ingredients. Very simple ingredients, very little ingredients. All you really need is flour, water, and we're using oil to substitute lard, and salt. This is what I'm doing. So we're actually doing a half a cup of oil for 4 cups of flour. Then we're going to go ahead and add the salt too as well. And I will definitely put the measurements in there for you guys. It is only going to be 3 tablespoons right now.
What a baker's eye.
Adding the water, and this is where we're going to get our hands dirty because we're going to go ahead and knit the flour so that all the ingredients get mixed in there. You don't want it to be too watery, but you don't want it to be too hard either. So I'm usually pouring the water as we go. I'm just starting with 2 cups because I don't think we're going to need more than 2 cups, but I'm going to add a little bit in there, and then I'm going to go ahead and start working it in with the other ingredients. Add a little more. At this point, I really only added a cup of water, but I know I'm gonna need to add a little more. Just wanna make sure all the ingredients start getting mixed in together. Remember, we did a half cup of oil, and I'm actually using extra virgin olive oil. Hey, if Italians use it on bread, why not on tortillas? So at this point, I know that I'm going to need to sprinkle just a little more flour, only because it is sticking to my fingers a little much. So this is not going to be a long process as far as how much we work the dough. It's just making sure that all the ingredients are really well mixed together and that we have the right consistency. Once we have this, we are going to go ahead and start separating it into smaller pieces. And then we're going to go ahead and let the dough rest. And you want it to rest for anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Because the dough won't actually stretch when you try to stretch it if you don't let it rest. So perfect. As you can see, it's at that point where I can hold it and it's not sticking to my hands. Okay, so for the next part, as we're making it into smaller pieces, and we're just gonna make little balls, we are wanting to go ahead and put them on a different separate pan where they can rest for a little while. And also, this is where, this is why I also showed you guys coconut oil at the beginning, that was going to be one of the ingredients. It's because I do want to go ahead and use a little bit as if I was having lard, just to make sure that I can separate them and for them to stay separated individually and not get stuck together. So that's going to help me do that. And in reality, while I'm doing this, I'm just going to put a little bit here as I'm making them, and you'll see how easy it is. So I'm just grabbing a spoon and pulling a little bit. So this is like the simulation as if you needed to use lard. So as I separate it, this is a good size I'm just going to go ahead and put a little bit of that coconut oil on my hands to kind of give it a nice seal to the dough. And I am going to just press it a little bit just so that it's not so much round, but it's a little on the flat side. And that's just how I'm going to do it. It'll take a little a few times for you doing it to kind of figure out what size you want to make your pieces of dough. And yes, I'm gonna say balls, your balls of dough. It's up to you if you want big balls or smaller balls. It will dictate the size of your tortillas. Once I finish here, we're just going to go ahead and let them rest. So we will see you guys in a little while. So then I went ahead and put in this little bowl, like a cup of flour, because now that I'm getting ready to spread the tortillas, I want to go ahead and put a little bit of flour on a flat surface, and then you use your roller at this point to go ahead and spread the tortilla. Then I flip it crossways so that I can go ahead and keep spreading it. And you don't have to roll it too much, just I usually do one way and then I flip it 90 degrees and do the other way basically. And then I just stretch it out a little bit with my hands. But as you can see, it's really easy to stretch the dough now that it's been resting for 45 minutes. So the other thing is you want to go ahead and put your pan on and let it go ahead and get warm. My stove goes from 1 to 10 basically. So I put it at 6.5. So to give you an idea of how warm you want the pan, so you want it more than halfway. If you have a gas stove, let's say a little above medium heat. So now it's gonna cook. I'm gonna flip it over and cook on the other side, and then we separate them, let them cool down, because if you just start packing them on top of each other, they'll kind of stick together. As you can see, as it's cooking, it's a little more see-through than the tortilla that you buy at the store. It's not as thick, but they're also very, very delicious. So we separate them, as you can see right here, we kind of separate them as we're letting them cool down a little bit as we're cooking them. As you can see, these tortillas are delicious. It's an easy recipe. If you have any questions or any comments, you can always go ahead and put them in the below the video, any comments, and I will get to you as far as any questions about the cooking or the ingredients. As you saw, these tortillas are cooking just the same as if you would have used lard, for those people that actually have used lard before. But then again, there was no lard added to it. Very little oil in reality when you think about it, because it was only half a cup for 12 tortillas. In reality, in one sitting, you'll probably eat 1 to 2 tortillas, so it's really not that much. Very little salt compared to that, and that again depends on your liking and your tasting, but I only did 3 tablespoons. You can do, and that's pretty much it. Pretty simple, isn't it?